Lightning McQueen is the main protagonist of the Pixar's Cars franchise. He's made his very first appearance in the first Cars movie, which we now just call Cars 1 for sake being the first film in the franchise, of course. We of course then had 2 and 3, but that's not the only interesting thing about him. Oh no, there's another interesting thing about Lightning McQueen, and that are his feats, his powers, his abilities, and more. Lightning McQueen is one of the strongest cars in all of fiction, probably one of the strongest fictional anthro cars to ever exist. So, without further ado, let's discuss the powers and abilities of Lightning McQueen. Now, before we talk about the true power of Lightning McQueen, his powers and abilities and feats, we have to make some things perfectly clear. For one, we're not just going to be counting Lightning's feats and abilities from the Pixar movies. We're also going to be counting his abilities from the video games and any other sort of media. So, we want Lightning at his absolute best and show how powerful he truly is. But now that we have that stuff out of the way, let's go. Now, when it comes to speed, Lightning has pretty much multiple different types of speed throughout this franchise. While it's not specifically clear what consistent top speed he has throughout the series, it is shown that he is still pretty fast as a race car. I mean, he was quite literally built for speed, so you can't expect him to not be fast. But speaking of which, Lightning McQueen has a V8 engine and at first had a top speed of 205 miles per hour in the first Cars movie. But as he did get older, his speed did progress pretty much degraded kind of shortly, because in the second movie, it was still confirmed that he was in the 200 mile per hour range, but it got dropped down to just 200 miles per hour. And in Cars 3, it already got shortened to 198 miles per hour. So his speed did kind of degrade as he got older, but you still can't deny the absolute fastness he has. But now, as for speed, as it helps him throughout the series, Lightning has shown throughout the entire franchise and the movies in general, and just overall the entire media of this Cars franchise, that Lightning's speed can absolutely help him out during any situation. Lightning has used this speed to train on all types of terrain, like asphalt, dirt, sand, snow, and on rare occasions, even ice, water, and mid-air. Now, as we all know, Lightning started off his racing days as an arrogant jerk who thought he didn't need any help from others. But ever since his trip to Radiator Springs accidentally by getting lost by the delinquent road hazards, he has since become a better racer and overall better car. Or person, you can say. Well, whatever. But as now back to speed. Lightning, as shown here, has used his speed to get out of multiple tricky situations, like getting destroyed by the bad guys in the Cars 2 video game, or even trying to win Japan race in the Cars 2 movie, and overall in Cars 1 passing by all the other racers. But now we're done with speed. Now let's move on to another section. Now, when it comes to attack potency, what the term means is that how powerful your attack truly is. For example, if you regularly punch someone in the face and they got hurt really bad by it, then that would normally be at least maybe wall level pretty much attack potency, that being you can hurt others your size. But if you hurt someone else so bad, like punching them in the face so hard that they pretty much fly backwards into the wall, then yeah, that would be at least much stronger, at least building level attack potency possibly. But Lightning would have to remain at least wall level attack potency, as he easily hurt cars his size, and can use the weapons to pretty much destroy them. Yeah, did I mention that? Yeah. In the Cars 3 Driven to Win video game, there's an event called the Kart Crashers, I believe, and it's pretty much just exactly like the Lemons event in the Cars 2 video game, where you just take down a bunch of lemons before the time runs out, and you have to take out a specific number of them. Yeah, that's essentially what happens in the Cars 3 Driven to Win video game. But this is a bit different because it still showcases, even years later, after Cars 2 even got released in theaters, Lightning still has the perfect attack potency and experience using the weapons. Now, I don't know if Cars 2 is canon or not, because it might possibly be, because in Cars 3 in the beginning, we see Guido wearing a hat with the Cars 2 World Grand Prix emblem on his hat, so it might possibly be canon, or just might be a simple nod to that movie. But now we're just kind of getting off track. Now let's talk about the attack potency going on in the footage right here. As we see, Lightning is very experienced using these types of weapons, taking down multiple of these carts with no issue. And he can easily keep up with them and take them down by side bashing them. He can even use the environment around him to grab the barrels, as you can see, by pressing the Y button in-game. But in the game universe, Lightning has shown to be using this at ease and throwing them at the carts, and even the massive truck with the oils that can explode easily. Yeah, Lightning does got it all. Another example of Lightning's extremely, well, not really extremely powerful, but decently powerful attack potency is in the short Cars Toon Tokyo Mater, where he is seen transforming into Dragon Lightning McQueen. And let me tell you, Lightning McQueen has a couple of, let's say, transformations or different personas he takes on, and this is Dragon Lightning McQueen. And look at this, he is strong enough to pretty much punch them and drive them away and pretty much hit them so hard that they fly the other way. I mean, look at that one. The other one flew so high up in the sky, possibly into the building. I mean, possibly Lightning might not be Wallow anymore. I would say that Lightning could possibly be at least small building level when it comes to attack potency. Yeah, now. So yeah. We also have the fact that Dragon Lightning McQueen was literally strong enough to push Mater into the pipes so high that he landed and pretty much ended up in front of Kabuto, the main rival of the story. So yeah, it is shown that Lightning's attack potency is so strong that he's able to defeat the carts in the Cars 3 Driven to Win, and he's also able to knock out all the other bad guys and the ninjas in the Mater's Tall Tales Tokyo Mater short. He was also strong enough to push Mater through the pipe. So, as we can see, Lightning's pretty much attack potency and strength is kind of inconsistent at times, but its inconsistency is what makes it so interesting. Also, I just want to take a quick reminder to look at all the flames that Lightning bursted out while pushing Mater. So this means that Dragon Lightning McQueen might possibly have fire powers, since dragons are known for breathing fire after all, and this is Dragon Lightning McQueen, so yeah, I'll probably have you consider that one as well. I mean, he probably won't be able to shoot fire throughout his mouth, of course, but his exhausts, of course, too, could work. But speaking of which, now let's talk about the strength of Lightning McQueen. And this strength, a part of this section, takes place in Air Mater. Now we have another Mater's Tall Tales short, this one being Air Mater, like I said already before. In this short, Mater decides he wants to fly, but he decides he pretty much can't because, well, at least Skipper did from Planes. He said that he couldn't fly because of tow truck, but he still managed to do it in the end. But still, this is not about the Mater short, despite it being called that. No, this is about Lightning McQueen's strength. And that, what I mean by that is, near the end where Mater falls after breaking the sound barrier, Lightning manages to carry Mater while on his tow hook. Yeah, just when Mater is about to fall to his death, Lightning manages to carry him. But not just carry him while he was flying, zooming perfectly, no. Lightning still manages to carry Mater, who is a literal tow truck, who is literally heavier than him, because he was made to lift things with his tow cable. Yeah, Lightning was strong enough to carry Mater. And let's also keep this in mind. Mater's model is based off a 1955 Chevrolet Task Force 3800, which weighs around at the very least 3,000 pounds, or at the very least close to that. Yeah, I've done my research, and it turns out Mater is based off that model of car. So yeah, Lightning manages to lift about at the very least 3,000 pounds, which is very heavy for a human at the very least. Yeah, it is in fact very heavy for a human. That would at least require superhuman levels of strength for order to do that. In the first Cars movie, we see Lightning McQueen being chased by a sheriff as he's trying to find the interstate to get the last Piston Cup and to get Dynago sponsored. But he eventually ends up in Radiator Springs, and you know how the story goes, the rest is history. But I really want to show you something that really stands out in this scene, because Lightning's durability is incredibly inconsistent. I mean, sometimes he could literally pretty much wrecked and destroyed, just like how we saw in Cars 3 in this first crash, after Jackson Storm pretty much all has his winning streak. But in other scenes and other media, we see Lightning surviving missile explosions and other attacks from other weapons. Really. And he can end up perfectly fine and still driving, even if he does have some damage. And yeah, sure, he can be damaged from the attacks, but they're usually not really noticeable, or don't remain in the long term. And when Lightning crashes into Radiator Springs, Lightning pretty much survives almost everything coming his way, from the barbed wire fence there to pretty much going through the drive-thru and crashing through all the oil cans. Now, this might not seem very impressive, and at first it really isn't. I mean, cars can pretty much go through all of that and still run, just be damaged. But as we see, Lightning isn't exactly very damaged by this at all, only gets a little bit dirty. Yet really, look at Lightning here. He went through all the barbed wires, but as his paint job stands, he's still perfectly fine. I mean, just look at him. There's no scratches or dents, nothing. And once again, in the video games, he can survive explosions and get energy stolen from other cars in Cars 3 Driven to Win, that being from the turbo siphon. So yeah, as I said, Lightning's durability is pretty consistent. But now, we have to talk about the weapons. Now we have the weapons. This is going to be the final part of this section. And then in this section, we will be talking about the different forms that have weapons. But first, we're going to be talking about the weapons in Cars 3 Driven to Win. First, we have the oil slick, which drops the oil. Then the nullifier, which removes everyone's weapons. Then we have the rapid fire, which is just machine guns. And then we have the road mine, which is just road mine. Now we have the other transformations, or different personas or forms, or whatever you like to call them. First, we have Dynago Lightning McQueen, which never actually happens. It's all just Lightning's fantasy, but I would say after all the shit that we've seen Lightning do, it is certainly possible. I mean, we've never actually seen him get the Dynago sponsorship. I mean, even when he was offered that by Tex Dynago at the end of the movie, Lightning kindly rejected him. But even when he did do that, it is still certainly possible that Lightning could become Dynamo powered and get all these weapons, like right here. And while this is non-canon to the movie, it is certainly possible of the potential of what to come. You've also seen Lightning pretty much being able to scale off his best friend Mater in another cartoon Mater Talltale short, Monster Truck Mater, as he's pretty much lifted up his entire character called... Okay, I actually forgot the screen guy's name. It's been so long since I've been this short. I've seen this short, I meant. But seriously, just look at this. Mater was strong enough to use his tow cable to lift this entire ring and flip it all upside down while completely crushing the monster truck. So it's possible that Lightning could scale off his best friend. And that should be the end of today's video. As you've seen, Lady McQueen is far stronger than you would think, and is quite possibly the strongest fictional car in all of fiction. Lady McQueen has shown using his speed as an example of force but protecting himself. He has used his strength to lift objects like his friend, has pretty much used his weapons, and is extremely durable. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't underestimate Lightning. Kachow!